So let's go ahead and have a seat at the front of the mat and just get comfortable however you need to so that you can have that nice straight spine. And we're just going to kind of take a moment and settle into our skin. So if you'll take a nice deep inhale through your nose, you can just kind of sigh out your mouth. That exhale through the mouth just sort of signals to us that we're getting ready to turn our attention and focus inward. And so do exactly that. Just take a moment to feel your body this morning. Start to deepen your breath. Nice, deep, slow Ujjayi breathing if you can. Notice your thoughts, your emotions, your energy this morning. And before I have you set your intention for practice today, I'm going to kind of tell you what our theme is. Today we're going to sort of focus on tapas and what that means in Sanskrit. There's actually multiple meanings, as is the case with a lot of Sanskrit terminology. It means discipline. It can also mean heat, like the fire of our passions or actual heat. But the idea is that the discipline burns off some of our negative stuff. So it can be physical discipline that helps you burn off tension or issues in your body, but it's also just the discipline of showing up for yourself and burning off maybe negative thought patterns, etc. So as we go through our practice today, I want you to kind of notice where you observe discipline in your practice. I mean, first and foremost, you are up early right now to take this class, getting onto your mat, really, whether you feel like it or not, whether you had a good night's sleep or not, first and foremost, that's amazing, Tapas, that you're even here. But then as you go through your practice, notice where your discipline might be observed. Do you maybe push a little harder in some of your poses today, since we're focusing on that discipline and austerity? Or do you use the discipline of self-love to maybe back up where you need to? And then we'll also kind of pay attention to how all of that will translate off the mat, because that's really the purpose of this whole practice, right? 1 hour here for 23 other hours out there that go a lot better than normal. So that's a lot of words early this morning. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Let the idea of tapas, heat, discipline, austerity, roll around for a moment, and then be very clear about your intention. And then when you feel like you're clear about your intention for your practice today, take a deep inhale. Exhale through your mouth again. Open your eyes, and I would like for you to go straight into downward facing dog. Just take a moment, pedal out the feet a little bit if you need to. Spread your hands. Just kind of start preparing yourself for your practice. When you feel like you've done a little bit of movement, excuse me, really lengthen your spine and just kind of see how things are feeling. And then let's go ahead and walk our feet forward up towards the front of the mat. Keep the knees a little bit bent and take a few breaths just hanging in ragdoll. Let's lengthen our spine. You'll notice when you hang in ragdoll, you feel a little bit of compression in your midsection. So you guys know Manipura chakra is where fire, Agni, resides. And that has something to do with tapas because of the heat, the fire of our discipline, the fire of our passions. On your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. And as you exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment, really connect your feet down. So there are so many reasons to root down at the beginning of practice, but truly to just connect yourself to the here and now, to the present moment, to feel your feet on the mat puts you right here in the moment. And this is where our discipline begins to unfold. So let's inhale and reach the arms up. As you exhale, lengthen your spine, fold forward, fingertips all the way down, and they stay down as we look up and lengthen, and then back down. Step back with your left foot, and just hold your lunge for a moment. Let's take a few breaths here to kind of start easing into the practice. Just kind of feel into how your hips are doing this morning. And then go ahead and drop your left knee down. We'll extend the right leg first to get into the right hamstring. So if you can, you get your right leg all the way straight, you flex your ankle and toes, and you pull your chest forward. And maybe your discipline, your tapas, has to do with being particularly mindful and impeccable with your alignment and your poses. Maybe. Bend your right knee. Let's take the arms up and overhead. We're going to tilt our pelvis back, make sure we have length in the spine by lifting the rib cage, and then allow the hips to move forward. So we are searching for sensation on the front of the left hip, left thigh. From here, we'll bring the hands down, and we're just going to step back to plank. Remember, always modify vinyasas however you need to. I will be challenging you a tiny bit today. That doesn't mean that you have to accept the challenge. So we're in our plank. If you're able to do chaturanga, we're going to lower down and hold it for a 3 count. On your exhale, lower down and hold. 2, 3. Come into either a low cobra, if that's where you need to start, or go ahead and go into your upward facing dog. Slight bend in the elbows so that we can get some forward action with the heart to lengthen the spine. On your next exhale, downward facing dog. And we lengthen. We take this opportunity to create even more space in the spine. And so it takes a certain amount of tapas or discipline to actually utilize each downward facing dog rather than make it a resting pose. So let's go ahead and take the left foot forward. And we'll hold our lunge on this side for a couple of breaths. Just allowing sensations in the thighs to unfold as necessary. And then we'll drop the right knee down, extend the left leg. Flex the ankle and toes, try and pull your heart forward. So just really being observant where you practice tapas during your practice. As I said, you've already shown discipline by showing up and stepping onto your mat. Where else does it show up in your practice? Maybe your tapas is maintaining a beautiful ujjayi breath throughout your physical practice. Let's go ahead and bend the left knee. Arms are going to come up and overhead. We tilt the pelvis, lift the rib cage, let the hips move forward until we feel something in the front of the right hip. Hands come down, step forward. to your standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. And as you exhale, bring your palms together. Feel the soles of your feet connect downward. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, back down. Step back this time with your right foot. And hold your lunge for a breath. Gaze forward and begin to straighten your left leg. And then we're going to bend the left knee. Remember, if you need to modify, you may drop your right knee down. If you can hold a high lunge, that's where we're heading. Arms are going to be up and overhead. Try and tilt the pelvis back a little bit and let the hips drop. One more breath here if you can. And then all we're going to do is plant that right hand and take the left hand up towards the ceiling. From here, I'd like you to spin your right heel flat and come straight up into Warrior Two. One more breath here. Tapas, heat, it should be building. Let's bring the hands to the mat and step back to plank. Again, work at your own capacity. But again, we're going to be holding chaturanga this time for a 5 count if you can. So have a nice deep inhale here in your plank position. And then as you exhale, you're going to lower down and hold. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lengthen. And then we're going to step forward with our right foot. Hold your lunge for a breath. Gaze forward, begin to straighten your right leg. Remember, of course, that you may modify anything that you need to. Always take care of yourself first. If you're able to do a high lunge, we're going to bend the right knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tuck our tailbone under, let the hips drop. From here, take the left hand to the ground, right hand to the ceiling. And then from this position, we're coming up into a Warrior Two. So all you got to do is spin your left heel flat. Come on up. Gaze over your right middle finger. Hands to the mat. Step forward. Standing forward bend. While you're in your forward bend, bring your feet all the way together, please. All the way together. And then inhale up. And as you exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So look down at your feet for me. Your big toes should be touching. Now, if your heels are separated a little bit, that's cool. You don't have to have your ankles and heels up against each other, but your big toes should be touching. If for some reason, and really there shouldn't be one, but if for some reason you can't get your big toes to touch, then I'm going to ask you to find a block or something to put between your knees, but I prefer that you just have your legs together. So we're going to be coming into Utkatasana, and we're going to hold it like we've been holding our other stuff for about 5 slow breaths. So how you do it is important. You're going to inhale and reach the arms up. If it's okay with your neck, look at your thumbs. If you have neck issues, you can look forward, that's fine. I want you to squeeze your inner thighs together. Stick your tailbone back behind you as you start to bend your knees and drop the tailbone and lift the chest. If you cannot get your feet together, please squeeze a block between your inner thighs. That muscular action is important. One more breath, you guys. On your next inhale, straighten the legs. As you exhale, fold forward, fingertips down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale back down. Step back with your left leg. Spin the heel flat. Warrior 2 again. Find alignment and hold. Discipline. Heat. Austerities. Left hand onto your left thigh. Reach that right arm up and over. Let's reverse our warrior. Come back up, warrior 2. I'd like you to take your hands to the mat and swivel onto your left toes. Drop your left knee down. And walk the right foot over to the left side of your mat for pigeon. Slide your left leg back. Come on to your forearms. You may go deeper if you like, meaning you can flatten out all the way onto your torso if that feels good. Keep your legs exactly as they are. Hands to the mat in front of your right knee and shin. Just lift your chest for a moment. And then bring your left hand into the center of the mat. Your right arm is going to reach behind you and you're going to look over your right shoulder. If you have knee issues, that's it for you. If you feel like you can, bend your left knee and clasp your left foot or ankle in your right hand. The idea is to gently pull it towards your right glute until you feel this on the front of your left thigh. Release your left foot down. Go straight into a 3-legged dog. That means your right leg is going to shoot straight back, lengthen for a moment. And then bend your right knee and roll your right hip bone open towards the ceiling. And then put your right foot back down and shift into plank. If you are able, we'll do 3 chaturanga push-ups. Your plank is your inhale. You exhale, you lower down with control. You inhale and press back into plank. You exhale, you lower down with control. You inhale, you press back into plank. That's just 2 push-ups. Sorry, it's 3 chaturangas. Exhale, lower down. Last push-up if you can. Inhaling into plank. This time you exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. From here, you may either walk or jump your feet forward to your standing forward bend. While you are here, please bring your feet all the way together. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Let's reset for side 2. Look down, toes should be touching. If they're not, please have a block between your knees. I want your thighs to be able to contact something as they're squeezing. Inhale, reach up. Look at your thumbs if it's okay with your neck. Exhale, tailbone sticks back and down. Thighs are squeezing in Utkatasana. On your next inhale, straighten the legs, fold all the way forward, fingertips down. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, back down. Step back with your right foot this time. Spin the heel flat and come up into your warrior 2. What are you burning off here? Let's reverse our warrior. Right hand, right thigh, left arm up and over. Discipline to keep the left knee bent and aligned. Come back up into your warrior 2. Go ahead and take your hands to the mat, swiveling onto your right toes. Drop your right knee down and walk the left foot over towards the right side of the mat to find your pigeon. Right leg slides back. We're going to start on the forearms. If you feel like you'd like to go deeper, you may, of course, flatten the torso out. Keep your legs as they are. Just come up onto your hands for a moment. Now we go ahead and bring the right hand to the center of the mat. Left arm reaches behind you. If that's it, that's fine. If you can, you bend your right knee, grab the right foot with the left hand, and pull it towards your left glute. You're going to release your right foot back down. We're going to shoot straight back into a 3-legged dog. Left leg is up in the air, straight behind you. And then bend your left knee and roll your left hip bone up towards the ceiling. Left foot comes back down. Shift into plank. You may do chaturanga push-ups, you may do a chaturanga hold, or you can modify whatever makes you happy, but do a full vinyasa, please. As you get into your downward facing dog, really lengthen the spine. Stretch your tailbone up and back, press with your palms. And then you can either walk or jump your feet forward to a standing forward bend. On your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. And as you exhale, palms together in front of your heart. So for our balance today, we're going to be doing a transition between extended hand to big toe pose, which basically means you've got your leg extended out in front of you, and then we're going to take it into dancer. So it's basically a hamstring and quad emphasis. However, the discipline of standing on one foot while you transition is part of the practice. So we're going to stand on the right foot first, if that's okay with your body. And what I'd like you to do is fully extend your left leg in front of you. Now you can grab behind the thigh, the calf, or if you're able, go ahead and grab your left foot, but you want to grab it with both hands if possible. Legs should be straight, chest is lifted, we're breathing. And then all I want you to do is release your right hand into the air and take the left leg behind you. So your left hand is still on the left foot or leg. Tuck your tailbone, pull the leg behind you, and find your dancer pose. And back up, release, left foot down to the mat. The same thing on the other side. So we stand on the left foot. You're going to extend your right leg out. Grab whatever you can reach. It can be your thigh, your calf, or your foot. Whatever you're hanging on to, please hang on with both legs. It helps keep your torso aligned. So from here, what we do is just extend the left arm into the air. Bring the right leg behind us, still hanging on with that right hand. Tilt the pelvis, find your dancer pose. Right foot comes back down, feet are together, palms are together. Inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, drop your tailbone, stick it back, lift your chest. Utkatasana one more time. On your next inhale, straighten the legs as you exhale. Fold forward into your standing forward bend. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, back down. So you can either walk or jump back to plank. Flow through a vinyasa, being mindful of your alignment and your breath. From your downward facing dog, take your right leg straight behind you, three-legged dog. Bring your right leg underneath you for a second pigeon on the right side. Slide your left leg back, but this time we're going to stay up on the hands. Please honor any knee issues. but just see if you can take the weight off of the hands. If it feels all right, take your arms up and overhead. Look at your arms if that's okay with your neck. And then bring the hands down and walk them forward and nestle your torso over your shin as much as your body allows. And we're gonna go straight back into downward facing dog and just stretch here. Press the hips up and back, stretch. Shift into plank and take your vinyasa. Left leg straight behind you. On your next exhale, swing your left leg underneath. Coming into your pigeon on the left, staying up on the hands. Seeing how it feels to take the weight off of the hands. Maybe taking arms up and overhead and gazing up. And then bringing the hands to the mat, walking them forward, either coming onto your forearms or simply nestling your torso down over your left shin. Come back up onto your hands. You're going straight to downward facing dog. Lengthening the spine. Pressing the hips back. Pressing the heels down. Shift into plank for your final vinyasa. After you've had a couple more breaths, to take full advantage of your downward facing dog, you may either walk or jump forward and have a seat with your legs extended. So not only are we going to take a moment in Dandasana to check in with our body, our mind, our breath, our heart, we're also going to just take a moment and check in with our tapas. So maybe you feel warm, that's the heat. Maybe you feel like you were practicing really good discipline in your poses. Maybe you were burning off tension or burning off stiffness or burning off morning fog in the brain. Or maybe you were burning off negative thought patterns, things like I can't hold Utkatasana for 5 long breaths, and then you did. And so it just shows that you're capable of more than you think. So maybe that will help you burn off negative thought patterns in the rest of your day when you think you can't do something and you in fact can. So just being sort of objective about all of this, looking at where the discipline on the mat can and often does come into play off of the mat. Let's go ahead and raise the arms up and overhead. Look up at the thumbs again. Kind of poke your tailbone behind you, lengthen out over both legs. And you may put your hands wherever they need to be. It can be your shins, your ankles, or your feet. And then pull the chest forward a little bit. And then you may relax your neck. come on up from that. We're going to take the left foot across the right thigh with the foot flat. Keep your right foot active. Lift up through your chest, and I'd like you to twist to your left. And be very mindful of a super straight spine. And try and twist enough that you're really getting some sensation in your midsection around your navel. Now, rotate back around. For some of you guys, this will be possible. For some of you, you're just going to repeat what we just did, but I'd like for you to try. Just kind of lean over onto your right glute. Your right knee is now going to bend. See if you can get that right foot back beside your left glute. Lift up through the chest. I'd like you to twist again. And just see if perhaps you can twist a little deeper. If you can't bend your right knee, just see if you can get even more compression in the abdomen. Focus on more length in the spine, more rotation. Shoulders should be down and relaxed. This is stoking those fires. Unwind. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let your hands be right behind your backside. Lift up through the chest. Press the knees out to the side and down. Take a couple breaths here. And then extend your left leg out and bring your right foot across your left thigh with your right foot flat and keep your left leg active. Twist to your right. Just do this to the best of your ability here. This is setting the stage for the deeper twist. So you want to lengthen your spine, rotate to the right, and really try and get some sensation around your navel. So the idea is to twist deeply. If your back is rounded, or if you're leaning too far back and your spine isn't straight, or if you're not applying a little bit of muscular effort here, you're not going to feel that compression. Rotate back around. If at all possible, kind of lean over onto your left glute and bend your left knee so that that left foot can come beside your right glute. And then we twist again and you see if you can get it just a little bit deeper. Squeeze your midsection. It's like fanning the flames at Untitled Chapter, which is also your digestive fires. Not only the fire that burns off negativity, but the fire that burns off food and calories, right? It's also our metabolism. Rotate back around, extend your legs. Give them a good wiggle. Now, it's been a really long time since I've actually seen you in person in class, and I don't know what your practice environment looks like or what your practice outside of these Zoom sessions looks like. I'm just going to make a suggestion, but that doesn't mean that you have to honor it. We've really been working core, discipline, heat, etc. In the yoga tradition, headstand is a heating pose and shoulder stand is a cooling pose. Based on today's practice, if you have any kind of a headstand practice, even if it's just tripod with your knees on your elbows, I would love for you to try, just for 3 breaths, to do some sort of a headstand. And by the way, that could be headstand prep with your feet still on the ground. And then, if possible, we'll go into a shoulder stand. Now, if you've got neck and shoulder issues, these are no-nos for you. And so you should go ahead and just do a bridge pose or even put a block underneath your hips. So having said that, if you are able, once you are in some sort of an inversion that looks like a headstand, if you're doing that, I'd like you to take 3 slow, deep breaths. And then we'll come down into a child's pose. Breathe, and then we'll transition into a shoulder stand. So if that's part of your practice, that would be my preference for you. Child's pose for a couple of breaths after your headstand or headstand crab or tripod. And then if you're on that headstand, shoulder stand track, you'll go ahead and transition onto your back. Hug your knees in, rock side to side. And we'll take ourselves up into as close to vertical as possible in shoulder stand. Now that involves trying to get your hands up near your shoulder blades and kind of tilting the pelvis. Squeeze your inner thighs, give me some high heel Barbie feet, meaning activate your toes. And slowly lower down. If you were in bridge pose or had your hips on a block, go ahead and join us on the back, hugging the knees and rocking side to side. At this point, we are going to transition into a twist, and I'm going to leave it up to you. You've been practicing your discipline, your austerities, your heat this whole time. So be disciplined enough now to listen to your body rather than your brain and decide what the best variation of a spinal twist is for you. But make sure you're twisting to the right with your left arm opening out to the left. So you can have both knees bent, one leg bent, one leg straight, or you can cross left thigh over right. Whatever you choose, make sure it feels right for you. Left arm opens out, maybe the head turns to the left if that's okay, and we breathe. On your next inhale, you'll come back up. You can hug your knees if you need to kind of take a moment in neutral, and then we'll transition to the other side. So whatever version of a twist you're doing is fine. Right arm opens to the right, and you'll be twisting to your left. On your next inhale, go ahead and come back onto your back, hug your knees in. You can rock, and then you can also do a little happy baby time. So if you would like, grab the outside edges of your feet and explore. Move around a little bit. So happy baby pose truly should be an exploration of movement. It's not a stationary pose. We might hold something for a breath if we feel like there's something that needs to release, but we're just kind of checking things out, seeing how it all shook out by the end of practice, right? Take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, you can bring your feet down to the mat. Let the knees drop open with the soles of the feet together. Let's lengthen the low back. So nice deep inhale as you tilt the pelvis back to press your low back flat into the mat. And you're going to hold that while you keep breathing normally. Wait for your next natural exhale and then release any tension in the body. You may begin to extend your legs. Separate the feet. Thighs roll in and out if you need them to. Spine lengthens. Shoulders relax. Hands move down below the shoulders of the heart. Palms rotate up. Fingers relax. Neck lengthens. Teeth separate. Eyes close. Forehead smooths. And we take a huge inhale through our nose. And a big exhale through the mouth. And then we let our breath just kind of find its own way. We let our body completely settle down and relax. And we let our awareness, which is different from our thoughts, we let our awareness come to how we practice tapas. So as I said at the beginning of our practice, the fact that you are up and on your mat is probably the biggest example of your personal discipline. Maybe sometimes we don't feel like it, but we step onto the mat anyway because we know we'll feel better when we're done. And that discipline to do something even when we don't feel like it can certainly spill over into other areas of our lives. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe we're not in the mood to exercise, but we have the discipline to do it anyway, knowing that we'll feel better when we're done. Or maybe we want to choose the wrong food, but our discipline reminds us that we're not going to feel so great after we eat it, and that our health is more important than a fleeting moment. So we make the right choice based on discipline rather than desire. And that's really kind of the point, is that our discipline, if we allow it to be, can be stronger than our desire and help us do the right things or not do the wrong things. It is the heat that burns off our old patterns, our old habits, and allows us space for new and better opportunities. So for the next few minutes, allow your body to simply rest and absorb your practice from today. Allow your breath to simply do what it does. And allow yourself to gently examine what and how discipline plays a role in your life, how this idea of tapas on the mat translates to your life off the mat. So just really beginning to feel back into your body. Noticing all of the aspects of your physical practice. Muscles, bones, organs. Perhaps also skin, temperature. Noticing your thoughts, noticing any emotions. Also noticing absence of thoughts or absence of emotions. Notice your energy. Notice how things feel at your midsection around your navel. Begin to move the fingers and toes. Begin to deepen your breath. When you feel like you're ready, take that deeper inhale to extend and spread the fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can exhale with a happy sigh to relax the fingers and toes again. And then we'll breathe in even deeper just to stretch. Full body stretch, relaxing as we exhale through the mouth. Bending your knees, either so that your feet are flat on your mat or so that your knees are hugged into your chest. And then rolling to the right side and resting on the right side for a moment. And pressing yourself up into sitting. So as you find your seated position, find your nice straight spine. So interestingly enough, or maybe not so interesting to you, but I'll tell you anyway, our second chakra is associated with Jupiter, which is about expansion. The third one, Manipura chakra, where we were doing some work today, is associated with Saturn, and that is about contraction. So just to seal in all of the good work that we've done today, we're going to work with all 4 parts of the breath today, meaning that we'll be doing an external retention. We're going to hold the breath out of the lungs for a little bit. During that time, I would love for you to pull the navel in slightly, contract around your navel center. Now, this is different for everyone. If holding your breath out or even in causes you any anxiety, then you can skip that part. But we're going to do it as a ratio, and that way you can do it at a level that is comfortable for you. So we'll do it as a 2-1, 2-1 ratio, which means your inhale and your exhale, same length. You're holding breath in the lungs and holding breath out of the lungs, same length, but half of what the inhale and exhale are. Something you might consider starting with. 4 count inhale, 2 count hold, 4 count exhale, 2 count hold of the breath out while you pull your navel in. If you're comfortable holding your breath out and you like this kind of thing, by all means, take it higher. You could do like an 8-4, 8-4, or even, higher numbers if you like, but just be mindful of not being anxious, not struggling, and being able to actually control the navel center to pull it in during that external hold. All right, so nice straight spine, relaxed shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. By the way, this is all through your nose, and then off you go. You get to choose the length of your breath. 2-1, 2-1 ratio breathing, but pulling the navel in during the external retention. Finish out the breath that you are on. Allow your breath to return to normal, but please just stay in that nice, quiet, still, focused place that you are right now. Eyes closed, spine straight. Breath is just normal. And take this opportunity to observe how everything feels. And just notice if you feel stronger. And that can be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or energetic. Notice if you feel stronger. And if you don't, that's okay too. Just pay attention to that. We can train ourselves to have even more discipline. Every time you step onto your mat, you're reinforcing your discipline of practicing yoga. Every time you do the right thing instead of the easy thing, you're reinforcing that discipline. You become stronger. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment in gratitude for your strength, your discipline, your tapas. Know that this discipline that you exhibit regularly has so many benefits, seen and unseen. Take one more deep breath in through your nose. Happy sigh through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, reminding us to be present. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. Palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always practice kindness and compassion and love. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste.